The steps that we've taken thus far have enabled us to reduce the file size of this drawing by 1/2. We've come from 1500 to a value of 857, so that's 1.5 megabytes down to 0.5 megabyte. So we've now got a snappier drawing, one that's going to be easier to work with. Let's have a look at some other features of this drawing. We'll turn on the line weight display, show hide, and the moment we do that, the text display and a lot of other entities display in a very heavy line. So let's pick one piece of text. You can see it's had the line weight of 1.2 millimeter applied to it. If we just check in the layers, we can look here that default is for each layer is in fact at the default settings. You can change that, but that hasn't been done. So what's been done here clearly is thickness has been applied to individual entities. So what I'm going to do to fix that, I'm not happy with that. I'd rather control line weights by the line thickness of layers. I'm going to select everything. The safer way to select everything is to go Tools and select All. And what I'm then going to do is go to line weight and say we're going to make line weight by layer. So that's now done. So I'll zoom extents. Let's turn line weights on now, and that looks a lot better. So we've fixed that particular display up. The other thing I think we might do, because if you're drafting for any length of time, you want to work with a background color that's black. You can see the problem I've got here with the text. So let's put it back to background color of white. And again, I'm going to select all. And I'm going to go to color and make color by layer and then unselect all. And that has already produced some interesting views. And if I pick this, what have we got here? We've got a bit of hatch, which is a solid hatch pattern through there in the default color. So I've made life a little more difficult for myself by doing that, but I presume if I go back to view and background color to black, that I think now works reasonably well. I can deal with that hatching. There might be an easier way to deal with the hatching, because under that hatch is in fact a polyline. So let me deal with that by deleting the hatch pattern. If I then wanted to show, that's obviously a parking area, is it? I'm not sure why the cars appeared in that position. It looks to be incorrect, but I'll just take the opportunity here of saying and showing you that you can pick a colour. Let's have a grey colour, and let's say that the area is now filled, and we'll put that using the arrange tool. We'll move that to the back, and now the car sits in that position there. So I need to go back to my designers and see why the car is sitting there. It may be on a layer that in the original drawing was in fact hidden, so it might be an example of another symbol that we can get rid of. Yeah, 2 car spaces. I think we could safely pick that, although yeah, we can move it back into that position. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? That there are at least a couple of instances of that. So the drawing's carrying another lot of extra space that we don't, extra symbols and things that we don't need. So if we now go back to view and background color of white, just so you can see what's happening, can you see now we have obviated the need to hatch, and we put our symbol, our car symbol, sitting on top of it. We've got another series of hatches through here, and I suspect we'll be able to do the same thing. It's a lot more efficient to have marked space by just closing a polyline rather than apply hatching. The areas in this design that had the solid hatching, I've now replaced that by turning the polyline around each area and saying that it's now a filled area. So that provides us with better definition. If I zoom out a little and pan down, I've done the same with the pool, put it on its own layer called base, and given it a colour so that we have a pool. Well, let's now see if we can control line weights in a way that will enable us to vary the weight on different size sheets. I've isolated the layer called plans, and most of the house footprint was on that layer. But what I am going to do is to move that footprint, all the entities that make up that footprint, and I've selected something a little odd there, but not to worry, we can fix that up later. I'll change it from a layer plans, because layer plans is not got a discrete collection. I'll put it on a layer called L footprint, and that's now done. We can now unselect all, go back to our all used layers and put all used layers on. Now if we want to show that footprint with a heavier pen, it's just an easy matter to go here and say change the line weight here, and we'll put it, and remembering we've got an A3 sheet at the moment, so my guess is that a 0.35 pen will give us the sort of weight that we want. Well, we're in model space at the moment. We've made the footprint, put that on its own layer, on the layer L footprint. We're doing line weight by layer, and we've just added or changed the thickness of that footprint layer. Let's put line weight on, and you can see the lines making the footprint of the house are thickened up. And when we go to the A3 sheet and we zoom in, you can see there's the outline of the footprint of the house with all the other line work around it, including the text being quite light. So I'm quite happy with that. What I would draw your attention to, and I think it's very clever, is that the windows in the house are just placed by a vertical line or horizontal line just inside the exterior wall of the house footprint. I've never seen that before, and I think it's a very, very clever idea. It's much quicker than cutting in 230mm walls or drawing with a multiple line shape tool. That's a very easy and effective way to do it. We'd set the line type suitable for an A3. What I want to demonstrate now is how easy it is to thicken things up if you happen to move to, say, an A1 sheet and you wanted to plot that at 1 to 100 or 1 to 50. And you can see that the current settings don't show, even though line weight is on, the lines are not particularly thick. If you wanted to bulk those up, it's just a matter of going here and just changing that from a 0.5 to a 0.7 pen and OK it and OK it. And now you saw, I think, the lines being thickened up, suitable for an A1 sheet. So this is a really versatile approach. I'll just go back here and reset it to, say, a more realistic 0.35 pen on an A3 sheet will work reasonably well. Whoops, that looks quite thick. Did I make a mistake there? Yeah, I picked the wrong one, didn't I? Put 0.7 on that one, and I want 0.3, and this one here can be returned to default. And now we're in business. We'll return here, and I think now we could just about return our background colour to black, and now we can work with soft light on our eyes and work on the drawing.